Hey everybody, this is Grace, and this is I think this is day 6 that I've been doing the exercise program. And I just stopped and called my doctor because of this really strange thing. I don't know what goes on with them, seriously, but I had asked to have prescriptions renewed, and the pharmacy faxed over the request. And what the doctor's office did, I don't know which doctor or the nurse practitioner, whomever, and it could be the nurse practitioner, she tends to mess up when it comes to writing the prescription. No joke. But they sent in refills for 3 months for 2 of my medications, but one of them, they only sent it for 1 month. On one prescription, it said 3 months for this, 3 months for that, 1 month for this. Okay. The pharmacy, I said, well, how would they do that? The pharmacist, they tried to send another one just the other day, and they didn't do it. For the other 2 months, for that one that only the refill for one. So I just called them because I called the pharmacy yesterday, and the pharmacist said, we'll request it again. I called them this morning, and the, whatever she is, works there in the front office, she took forever to find my chart, and when she came back, she said, they've always done it for only 1 month. I said, I take 1 pill per day every month. I've never had a problem every time they've filled it for 3 months, but this time. It's kind of like she was trying to say that the doctor or the nurse practitioner did it right. That nurse practitioner does it wrong. She gets screwed up in her head somewhere when she's writing them. And like I said, one time she did something like a month and a half on one other medication. It was like, really now? Seriously? She can't, I don't know. She has a problem with numbers somewhere. Yeah. Okay, then I would get all confused because it's like, some of my prescriptions, I still have refills and some of them I don't. And oh my goodness, it becomes a mess. So, and I don't have health insurance, and that's where a lot of people go for, because of that purpose. They're not really expensive. The tests aren't all that expensive, which makes you wonder about these other places that, how high they charge for each, blood draw and blood test and stuff, when this place doesn't do that. I know there's more to it than that, but I used to work in medical billing, but yeah, there's still, to me, it's no, yeah, they don't need to do that, but they do. And so anyway, here's the thing. I don't want to go to the doctor right when I'm starting this program, because it's not going to show, and then I'm going to have to go back again 3 months, and then they're going to say all this stuff, because they love to say all this stuff. Like, I'm not doing well enough, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. When I'm telling them, let me have my medications for the next 3 months, and when I come in 3 months from now, we can see if it's making any difference, this new program with the exercise and the diet and everything. I don't know. I think really that people don't listen, because I can go really slow with it and say, I'm trying a new exercise program, new diet, real slow. Now, do you have a problem understanding that? I'm trying a new exercise program and a new diet. They shouldn't have a problem. But I think what happens is they go off into some other land. They're busy thinking about something else. As I would say, they're busy texting somebody in their mind. And it's not everybody, okay? But far too often, this is what happens. And then I say, so I want to wait until 3 months from now before I take my blood test. I can't see that anybody would have a problem with that. Trying a new exercise program, trying a new diet. I want to wait for 3 months before I get my blood tested again. No, shouldn't be any problem. But oh my goodness, does it ever become a problem? And anyway, I called this one and I told her, and she said, well, I asked the doctor, but I could hear that she wasn't really paying attention. Okay? She was like somewhere else, and she said, I'll ask the doctor and we'll see what happens. And I'm like, okay, because it just doesn't make any sense. But like I said, I think it really is that they're like the flying monkeys for this. And that woman is the RN. Oh my goodness, she can be so bad. Seriously. She told me one time, she tried to humiliate me in front of a student, a intern, and me and the intern had something in common. We attended the same university, and the doctor, not doctor, but the RN, she seemed to have gotten really upset because the attention wasn't all on her. And she was doing something. We weren't interrupting her. We weren't ignoring her. She wasn't saying anything. It was nothing like that. But she's the type that, I can tell she has to have the attention on her. So since then, she was very rude and humiliating. The nurse practitioner kind of gave a little nervous laughter, and I did not appreciate it. And I really didn't catch on to all that she was saying until later on because it was just so shocking. But ever since then, she's been extremely rude. And so I try to see somebody else there. They only have a doctor, and and there's one that comes once a month. I want to see her. Okay, I've only seen her once, and that time she wasn't like rude like the rest of them. Okay, now this was rambling, but when I call and ask a question, I do it very direct and rather slow. Seriously, because I want to hear if they're listening, or they're off somewhere else. I want to hear it, and I want to hear them. They never will repeat what you say. No, that's important. Repeat what they say. To repeat what the customer or the patient says when they're trying to get something cleared up. No, they're off texting somebody in their mind. We're going to see what happens, and I told her also to leave me a message and let me know on my cell phone. That it's my cell phone. Nobody else answers it. Leave me a message on what happened. Let's see if they do, okay? Okay, to add some more. I went in there and I didn't help that much, but I've been thinking that I'm just not working out. I don't feel my heart beat faster or anything like that when I go and do it. Maybe I'm not doing enough or doing it right, but for me, I basically start when around the time that I leave my SUV to walk in there. Okay, that's how I put it in my mind. And to at least stay in there 30 minutes, which I did today, between walking around and doing the machines and everything, but just doesn't feel like it's getting my heart rate up enough. But my heart rate sometimes is up so much, it is. I don't know what's been going on lately. I think it's the stress. Sometimes I do. When simple little things like this, seriously now, simple things get so screwed up. I should not have to call back because the pharmacist, the RN or whomever wrote the prescription wrong. This is a doctor's office. Doctor or nurse don't write prescriptions wrong. And then sometimes it's about the pharmacy. Don't do it wrong. When you're in a medical field like that, pay attention. Be there. Don't be off texting somebody in your mind. I'm stuck on that today because it's stressful to have to wait, because then you're going to have to, like if they don't do that, which would be stupid, I'm going to have to go back to see the doctor, and I do not want to see that Nurse Ratchet. And isn't that what it was, Nurse Ratchet? I just, I want to hold it off as it is, because of the blood draw and the new program and all this stuff. But they're not going to make sense. Things just don't tend to make sense these days. Too many people, not everybody, not everything. But in my world, it doesn't make sense. Why would a doctor really renew a prescription, or the nurse? 2 of them for 3 months, 1 of them for 1 month. Makes no sense. God, except they're just not there when they're there. Okay, now overall you say, oh, you're just being this or you're just being that because it's only one thing. No, I wish it was just one thing. It seems like so many things in my life. Like one day it can be several things like this happen. Different things that just don't make sense and really I know what it is. My degrees are in psychology and sociology. But I'm going to put it this way. They're not there when they're there, just like I said. They're off texting somebody in their mind. They're not paying attention. It's kind of like you are a burden to them. They just want to, please. I don't have time for you. This kind of thing. So they're not really listening. They're pretending to listen, or not even really pretending. You can just see this blank look on their face. But, as I keep saying, it's not everybody. But it's a good chance it's going to happen. That can be like going into the doctor's office, when you go there to sign in and everything, and you have to say something to them and they're just looking off, or calling them on the phone. And it's not just the doctor's office. It's going to a grocery store or a store, just a convenience store, whatever kind of place, whatever business, restaurant, who knows, anything, to pick up some supplies or whatever. And they're not the person there. There's a high chance they're not going to be there mentally there. They're there maybe physically, maybe if you can find one. But emotionally, psychologically, whatever, they're not there. Like I said, off texting somebody in their mind, off having some conversation with somebody else. Their body's there, their mind's somewhere else. I had a rant. But this kind of thing, when it happens on a regular basis, it's so stressful because you have to repeat yourself. You have to go back. You have to do more for something that should be simple. Should not have to occupy your time, sitting on hold, waiting for them to get, so that you can tell them you did something wrong, and then they're going to say, oh, well, you're going to have to hold them even longer because we're going to have to wait and ask, and it's going to be hours. It might be tomorrow, it might be next week, so we don't know. Oh, my goodness, really. But anyway, I was talking about exercising, but you see where my mind is right now. And I also realized that about medication. Okay, I take medication. I've taken it 21 years for diabetes, type 2, insulin resistance. And I've been taking it, like I said, 21 years. And I've had numerous doctors, because I moved around a lot in 21 years. And I've had numerous pharmacists, to fill it. Numerous doctors, like I said, healthcare professionals, whatever. And none of them, I don't think anybody ever agreed on how I'm supposed to take it. Seriously, that's like, really? This is healthcare professionals. So the other day, there's some reason, I don't remember what it was, but I thought, I'm going to call the pharmaceutical manufacturer, the ones who manufacture this. And it's a generic, well, I called the number for the generic, the people who make it, and it was just busy, and I called it back busy. And so anyway, I looked at for the brand. They're supposed to be the same. That's what the pharmacists even tell me. It's supposed to be the same chemicals, work the same, all that stuff. Don't believe it. I've had 21 years of experience. So anyway, maybe they work the same, but they don't have the same effect. Yeah, there's a way I could tell, used to be. And the pharmacist would say, yeah, they could be something as, being very sensitive to it. The chemicals that they use to clean their instruments could affect some people. So anyway, I called the manufacturer for the main one, the brand one, and asked about that. The way the guy told me, that he had to look it up and everything, how I should take this medication was I take 4 pills a day. He said take 1 with each meal, 3 meals a day, 1 with each meal. And then the biggest meal of the day, take the other one, the 4th one. So I would be taking 1 meal a day, which was my biggest meal of the day. I would be taking 2 pills. Okay, the other 2 meals, I would be taking 1 each for each meal. Made perfect sense to me. Okay, yeah, ask pharmacist. My doctor says take 2 in the morning, 2 at night. Yeah. Well, my doctor doesn't know me. He keeps trying to get me to take an extra one that I am allergic to. I keep telling him, I've had this doctor for 7 years. I keep telling him I can't take that because I'm allergic to it. And he still tries to get me to take it. And he gets mad because the pharmacist won't fill it. The pharmacist is not going to fill something I'm allergic to, period. And he knows this. he tried to triangulate me within his argument he has against pharmacists, and I said, no, I am listening to the professional, and he said, no, well, then you get your pharmacist to do your plan for it. The egos, my goodness. Okay, now the pharmacist doesn't have an ego about this. The pharmacist is, I'm not going to fill it. He's not going to lose his license by filling something for a doctor that's persistent. And he says that. But I shouldn't be in the middle of this. Yes, I am the patient. But they should that pharmacist should talk to that doctor and say, we cannot fill this because she's allergic to it. Instead of me having to go back and forth, that's ridiculous. They're triangulating me. And it's not the pharmacist's fault, it's the doctor's fault. But the pharmacist should stand up. I think so too. And say, no, she can't take this. But the ego of this doctor to do that is it just amazes me. That's why I don't want to see the doctor. And then the nurse, she's so... she has to be center of attention, and she's just so rude. She'll be nice at first, and then a few minutes later, she says something that's going to be rude and sarcastic, and she can't add. So she has a problem with numbers. I'm not laughing about that. Some people do, that's their thing. But, other people are paying for this in this respect, and, the people that work there, they could check her, especially if they've seen it happen time and time and time again. And I know it's not just me, but it could be. This is a woman who's rude to me. She could be doing it on purpose because she's a B. Yeah. Okay. And just for the record, me going to this gym and everything, it is mainly because of my diabetes. I've heard so many things. I'm not a healthcare professional provider. That's not about any of that kind of stuff. None of it. None of my videos. I'm just doing this for myself. Ask your own doctor, what you need to do. But so this, there's a reason I'm doing all this, and overall health, getting older and everything. And, on top of it, I don't need the stress. I'm trying to change my life, and they're just making things more stressful. Okay, really, I have considered a lot, that living here is very stressful, very stressful. I call it Narcissismville. Not instead of Pleasantville, I call it Narcissismville. Now, I actually did not give it a reputation of people being narcissistic. When I first heard of this suburb of Dallas, I heard that the suburb, that the people in it, of course, it's just stereotyping, those are wrong. But I heard that people have a high sense of entitlement who lived here, lived there. But it's really an area, more than one area. And you can see it, world of difference from there to stepping outside of there. Going down to another town or another suburb of Dallas. World of difference, okay? I've had many years of experience with this, around 20. World of difference. But I've thought that many times that this is what stresses me out. And the stress is not helpful at all, with it. And the waiting and having to have so much patience, having to deal with people who are very narcissistic. Seriously, their behaviors. I'm not diagnosing them, but I'm saying they're very narcissistic. It's about them. To them, it's about them whenever they get around to it. And I know some people would say, well, you got a problem because you want it done immediately. Well, I want it done right in the first place. Really, it should be done right in the first place. There should be no callback, and this happens too many times. I'm serious. Too many times. I can't tell you how many times, that's with the doctor, how many times I've been in a pharmacy and I have to wait because they have to redo it because they did it wrong in the first time. That is bad. That is, I would say, maybe even worse, because they were giving me the wrong pill, or usually it's not the wrong pill. I've never had them give me like a different brand. I don't think. I mean, not a different brand, but a different pill altogether. But a different brand, yes. And I've told them they have it on the pop-up. I cannot take this certain brand of that one. I need to take this one because I'm very highly sensitive to medication. That is a thing. It's a real thing. And the pharmacists are the ones who've told me this, different pharmacists. It's a real thing. And I don't need them to tell me. I experience it. So they should be there when they're there. And reading that pop-up, it's a pop-up. It says, don't do this. But they're not. And I can't tell you how many medications they give me, and then I have to call back and say, hey, you gave me the wrong one. They said, well, we can't take him back. You have to keep him. I said, well, where's my money? No, they're not going to do that. Then I have to go call the doctor, and the doctor says, well, we need you to come back in before we renew it. You know. Oh my goodness. And these are people who are not doing what they're supposed to be doing, and they're not doing it right, and they're causing me, like in this situation, me problems. I'm sure I'm not the only person. Okay, I'm not 100% sure, but I cannot imagine being that singled out. You know, that so many different ones over years are going to single just me out. No, people like that, they don't, you know, in the workforce like that. My experience has been they don't just single one person out. They're not there when they're there. And it's not just one person they're screwing up. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. Yeah, it's my little vent of the day. So anyway, I'll talk to y'all in another video. Bye.